Well, hello folks. We are in the beautiful Smoky Mountains, traveling Newfound Gap Road, heading to Cherokee, North Carolina. And it is so pretty. The leaves are just starting to change in some areas, and then you can see lots of color in others. So just sit back and enjoy some of the scenery. It had rained the night before, but this was just a gorgeous day. And of course, the higher the elevation, the cooler it got. It actually got into the mid 60s, but it felt extremely nice. Newfound Gap Road is a 34-mile road that connects Gatlinburg and Cherokee, North Carolina. We ran into a little bit of road work that we were in for about 30 minutes. We thought it was going to be worse, so it was very nice when we made it through. Now, this route takes you to the highest elevation in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, 5,056 feet, the Newfound Gap Overlook. So much work on the Great Smoky Mountains National Park done by the Civilian Conservation Corps that came out of the New Deal. President Roosevelt's New Deal coming out of the Depression, putting a lot of Tennesseans to work. Now, a lot of this road work and repair was because of a landslide that happened in August of this year. And all the road work is expected to be done on the Tennessee side by September the 30th. Now, one of the great things, of course, to do here is to pull over to one of the many overlook opportunities to get those great pictures, see those great views. But if you pull over for longer than 15 minutes, you actually need a parking tag. Those can be purchased at any of the visitor centers, a daily, a weekly, even an annual pass for $40. Newfound Gap is on US 441, and I was surprised to know that it has 19 snowy days a year. We actually came through on one of those snowy days when we were going to Cherokee. I believe it was in 2019. Now, the park itself was officially dedicated in 1940, and FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt himself, was here for that dedication. Of course, one of the absolute joys is to see wildlife. People come to Cades Cove, for instance, to see a lot. We saw a bear before we could even get the camera out, but we will see some elk coming up here in just a little bit. The baby elk kept getting separated from the group, but no matter how far it got away, Mom always made sure it came back. All right, folks, now we are in Pigeon Forge, and we're going to take you into Hulk Hogan's wrestling shop. Of course, there are two shops in Florida, and then now this one in Pigeon Forge. It was going through still its kind of soft opening when Hulk passed away. A lot of people were wondering, would it even open at all? NWO, New World Order. Of course, Hulk Hogan turning heel at the Bash at the Beach, changing the dynamic of his character for a number of years until the fans kind of demanded that he come back to the red and yellow for that second run in WWF/WWE. Always will be WWF to me. 80s and 90s kids, we know, right? Every type of t-shirt you can imagine through all eras of Hulk Hogan, WCW, WWE, ring trunks from Andre the Giant back there, replica belts with Hulk Hogan's signatures, also merchandise for Ultimate Warrior, Macho Man, again Andre. You can get in the ring, I think it was $20 or $25. I was trying to get Lori in there for a match, but she wouldn't do it. I had the Hulk Hogan wrestling buddy back in the day. I've never been a collector. I was a collector of wrestling figures at one time, years ago, like 20 years ago at this point. But never the belts. And that's an expensive collector market to get into, rather. So people that collect that sort of thing, they're into it for a pretty penny. I've got a friend that still has a massive collection, and he has one of each of every belt, and I'm just like, ah, that's great. I don't need it. Good price points for everybody that is just wanting to pick up something. There were things from $5 all the way up to $1,000 plus. Lots of opportunities to get your picture with things. You know, I realize that there's a lot of people upset with Hulk Hogan, some of the things he did. And I'm just going to tell you, for me, I separate the character from the person. I do it in Hollywood. I do it in wrestling, which is kind of akin to the same thing. Some people may say that's wrong to do that, but the character of Hulk Hogan meant a great deal to me as a kid. And I wanted the opportunity to go in this shop at least one time because I don't think this shop is going to last forever. There's a lot of people coming in, not a lot of people buying things. Now, in the same strip mall area here, across from Hogan's wrestling shop, is Cooter's. Now, wait, you don't have to take the children out of the room. Cooter's from Dukes of Hazzard, Cooter's place. A museum is in here for Dukes of Hazzard. All the merchandise that you can shake a pair of Daisy Dukes at. Let's go inside. So out in front of Cooter's place here in Pigeon Forge, you have an opportunity for pictures with a General Lee to your heart's content. Inside, there's a nicer one that you can get footage of for, I believe it's a $10 fee. And I noticed while we were in there, that put a lot of people off. They were like, wait, what? You have to pay? But it's very nice, and I can see they know it's going to be a popular photo op. They don't mind you filming the museum or anything else in the store, but that is the one thing they ask that you pay for. Just two good old boys. I expected John Schneider and Tom Wopat to come around the corner. Actually, when we came in, there was a sign on the front door that Tom Wopat would be appearing here at Cooter's in the future. I believe it's in October sometime. Now, if you were curious, Cooter's is owned by Ben Jones, who played the character on the Dukes of Hazzard. It's one of 3 museums and shops that he owns. One in Nashville, the one here, and then there's one in Virginia. So the shop itself is about half merchandise, half little museum and memorabilia wing that they have here. Quite a few things, way more things than I was expecting in terms of props from the show itself.
Listen up.
So, of course, Dukes of Hazzard still has a pretty rabid fan base. Now, I was very young when the show was on originally. I was born in 80, and the show ran for 7 seasons from 79 to 85. 147 episodes, I believe. And it's not easy to watch the show. Back in 2015, it was still showing on TV Land and other outlets. They pulled it because of the controversy, of course, of the Confederate flag on the General Lee. But now you still can get it, although to stream it, you actually have to pay per episode, which can be anywhere from $1.99 to $2.99, which is crazy. So probably your best bet at this point is to try and pick it up on DVD. You can actually pick up the complete series for under $20 in most places. Now this is pretty cool. The door from Uncle Jesse's house in Covington, Georgia. Some scenes were shot in Covington, especially some of the early ones. But most of the show was shot in California. You can see the decked out General Lee back there. I did end up picking up a magnet. Of course, a magnet for posterity. Got a couple of postcards. And really more than anything else, while Lori was doing a lot of the filming in here, I was talking to the sales clerk. She and another member of the staff here were getting married when we were there that very weekend. So it was cool talking to them. Me and Lori just celebrated our 20th this year, and I was telling them to just make sure they enjoy it, because that wedding day will certainly be a blur. Really a lot to see and do in this shop. There's a lot of museum section that you're seeing, again, completely for free. A lot of fun for fans of the series, for sure. Now, Sorrel Book, who played Boss Hogg, now he was a very gifted actor, so if you ever get a chance to go over to IMDb and check out some of his filmography, a lot of people know him just from this show, but he was very talented. He actually had written into his contract that he couldn't kill anybody and he could never sell drugs. All right, making our way out of the store, one final little section of screen-used memorabilia. Ben Jones, to be able to fill 3 stores. He has quite the collection. A lot of celebrities never thought to take things or acquire things from the shows they were on. Debbie Reynolds was kind of the first to popularize that and show the value of screen-used items, costumes, and amassed one of the largest collections of any celebrity. After leaving Cooter's place, we made our way down to the island, not too much farther away, actually. The island, built in 2013, fully finished in 2014, 80-plus shops, Margaritaville, hotel, Paula Deen's family kitchen restaurant is here, 80-plus shops in all. A lot to do here. Parking is always free. There are trams that you can ride, animatronics for the kids, everything you could want here, right? We're going to walk through the island. Notice lots of coins here, and I guess the object is to try and throw your coin through that narrow opening, because you can see a lot of coins that have missed the mark. Love the Margaritaville hotels. We've stayed at quite a few of them. 3, I think, in total, including the one in Gatlinburg. Now, I have heard you want to stay away from the Margaritaville cruise. I think that's owned by a separate company, and you definitely don't want to go there. When it's like 8 steps down from Carnival, that's probably not a good sign. Jimmy Buffett, of course, the namesake for Margaritaville, who unfortunately passed away a few years ago. They're actually going to build a museum to him in Mobile, Alabama. Even though he's from Pascagoula, Mississippi, his museum will be in nearby Mobile. We look forward to visiting that next year when it opens. Now we can see the 200-foot tall observation wheel, the Great Smoky Mountain Wheel. Definitely has become an iconic landmark here in Pigeon Forge. It's what you think of immediately for the island itself. Along with these animatronic dinosaurs, there are 22 of them spread throughout the island. And it may not be Vegas, but the island does have its own water feature here, which is very cool. And different than Vegas, you can grab yourself a rocking chair and just people watch to your heart's content. They're decked out in fall. Are they ready for haunt season? I hope not. Well, I think the T-Rex is telling us to make like a tree and leave. Thanks so much for being a part of our trip to Pigeon Forge, folks. It was great to have you along for the ride. Is it a tourist trap? Of course, but it's a place that a lot of people feel nostalgia for. Of course, you got Dollywood. Didn't even scratch the surface, obviously, of what there is to do here. We've done a lot of those touristy things in the past, but just had a couple days to come up and wanted to take you along for the ride. Folks, I hope you have an amazing Friday or whatever day it happens to be that you're watching this. I greatly appreciate you being here, liking, commenting, subscribing, all those good things. If you just watch via TV and you don't comment, hey, I appreciate you just as much. Thanks for being here. Thanks for helping us do what we do. Another Adam video from me should come out later today, time permitting. The video that I was working on and got a little bit more expansive than I had originally intended, but barring the 9 to 5 commitments, of course, hopefully later today or possibly Saturday morning, but one will be coming very, very soon. And I want to thank our new and returning members, Brian Walsh, returning member, and new member Search One. Thank you all so much. I'm Aaron with Passing Through Productions. You've been passing through, and I greatly appreciate you for it.